One more again. One more again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rebooted. Oh my gosh. Oh boy, how you living, man?
I'm not happy right now
Why you not happy, man?
because I'm not live on my channels, and I'm like, I know I set my stream links up, and
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, you're not live on your channels.
it's it says we're live. It says waiting for the lab tech show.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we're not live on my end. That's
Oh
not
my
good.
gosh. That can't be good. That can't
I,
be
I
good.
did everything right. So
Did you?
why am I struggling over here? It says you're connected, hosted by James Hicks, and on the last episode, you gonna tell me that I'm not linked up. You really gonna do me like this, brother? Like, what would you do to me, man?
Now, how is it my fault? I'm over here
Brother,
not even
my
pushing any
cha-
buttons yet. I haven't even pushed any buttons yet.
but we're live, and I
Yes.
don't see myself on my channels, brother. Like,
I'm sorry. Maybe you push control instead of
we need to
enter.
stop the show and come back because I
Oh
don't
no.
get it. Like,
Oh
why
no,
would you? Why
we're
would you
not
do me
stopping the
like
show.
this on the last episode of the season, brother? Like, you got me looking bad over here,
Nope.
especially when we got company in the house.
I have nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with it. You you know what I'm saying? We got your guests laughing in the background too. We
Can
got
you
your
fix something? I mean, can you look on your back end? Because I don't get it. Why Tall Boy's not like 9 weeks, 10 weeks, and we ain't had no problems until today.
No, man. Let's see everything. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Okay, we got folks coming in from all over the place. Shirley P's in the building. Mr. Hicks is in the building. We see him. Uh, no, I see us live. So I'm not sure what to tell you, man. Maybe it may be a restream issue, which I don't control.
I
But
don't like these people. I keep telling y'all.
I, I,
That's your people.
I tell you what we'll do, and you know we do. We record an isolated audio and video. I'll pull all the isolated audio and video, and then you can do it as like a premiere, so you can run it tomorrow. It'll just be recorded because it won't be live, but you'll still be able to get the watch time. How about that? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Uh,
On
this
to
is how the
others.
last show of the season of Reboot is going to work out and start. He's already now he's checked out already, but you can't check out because we've got guests in the back.
Hey,
I'm
this
just
happens in real time. This is how technology works, man. I
this
mean,
is how it works, man. We got guests in the background that's an omen. Don't stop to reboot it. There, look, there it is right there, telling us not to stop. Shirley saying, "Don't stop." Uh, listen, let me bring on our guests because that's what it was all about, making sure that we had community here in the building. We see folks that are joining from multiple locations already. Hopefully your channels are starting, but um, again, we wanted to have the conversation about what we do, what we've done, how we've done it, and we've had a lot of folks in the community that have chimed in over the course of the last quarter and said good, bad, ugly, and different, that kind of thing. But so let's do this. I'm not even going to mess around and do them individually just yet, but let's bring on these guys right here that we already had in the back room. I'm gonna start with let's start with the top left there. So I tell you what, you talk about your guy Steve right there.
well, this guy right here to me is a personal good friend of mine. He's seen my grind from the beginning to where we are today, and good, solid brother all the way around. First and foremost, he's a father, and that's the one thing that I respect. I appreciate, and to be able to see his kids not only go to college but also make it to the NFL. So that first and foremost, that's Stevie's dad. So uh, that's
That's
his
good.
Instagram handle, Stevie's dad. So to know that we're talking to a father that's been and seen the process, knows what it's like. We know what just happened this weekend. We know that. Outside outside of that, he's a consultant, he's a producer. He makes a lot of magic happen behind the scenes in the gospel industry. And if you guys are familiar with Yolanda Adams, the gospel artist, I'll let him say all of it because I don't want to, discount anything that he does, but he plays a intricate role with Yolanda Adams. So that's Mr. Steve Bracy.
Man, you bring him on like Steve Harvey.
Man,
Okay.
appreciate that, man. I'll give you your $5 later on. Appreciate that. That deserves an offering, brother.
That's it. Steve, welcome, welcome. And anything
Thank you,
else
man.
you wanted to add in terms of specifically around what you do with technology? I guess because again, that's what we're primarily talking about.
Well, what's interesting is the moniker Stevie's dad actually came from the first time I experienced Instagram,
Mm,
and my sons were asking me to take them to a local hood YMCA, and we were gonna buy sneakers, and I did not understand that. And not only were my taking my sons, but I had to grab four of their friends, and we were all going down to Tallboy to the Campbellton Road YMCA. And these
Mm,
kids had about $1,200 in their pocket. And I didn't understand that. Why are we going to the YMCA on Campbellton Road with $1,200? I had a problem with that. And it wasn't until I walked in and experienced my first sneaker con for the first time. And I think it may have been the first one that they had. And I asked them, I said, how did you guys know about this? And Brandon told me this thing called Instagram. And I said, what is Instagram?
mm.
And that's what got me started. And I came home that night, tall boy, and I started Yolanda Adams' Instagram page that night. And I said, this is something different we got going on. That had to be about 15 years ago. So
So you
anyway,
started
so
the official one, or
I
just?
did. Yeah, I did. I did. I started all her social media platforms.
Oh man, that's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
oh, this guy is connected. Let's just make sure. I didn't want to throw him
You gonna
out
give him his
there.
flowers? Okay, you gonna give him his
I
flowers.
didn't want to throw him out there because he may not want to talk about that tonight because he does other things. And when it comes to audio production, it comes to producing. I mean, this guy is we talking to a Grammy Award guy over here. So a Grammy Award winning guy. So we
I've
talking
been
to
around
some.
the block a time or two. So
Okay.
I've been
You
Yeah.
know what? I may have to put you in touch with my guy Keith Pelzer. He's out in Philly, and again,
around.
Grammy and musician as well. So I mean, it's
Nice.
interesting how small circles uh,
Nice.
collide. Really cool. Really cool. Listen, well, thanks again, brother, for being here. Listen, let's move on to this guy. Is okay. John is our harshest critic. He is the one who says, Why in the world are y'all going vertical?" But yet still, yeah, but yet still he's there every single week, right? With quality content, with quality comments and engaging. So a valuable member of the community. John's also a creator in and of it himself. So man, I know I was saying before we went live, we appreciate your candor and for the fact that you are telling us when something looks good or something doesn't look good. Why don't you do that? And though that's we need more folks around us to do that, right? We need less crabs in the barrel and more folks that would say, hey, Talbot, you know what, if you did this, James, if you did this, it would work. This resonates with me or this doesn't. But then not just say it, but give positive feedback and criticism. I'm out there trying to hype you up like Tallboy did for Steve, but that's what I wanted to say, man. John, tell us what you do as well from a creative perspective as well, man, because you're out there on YouTube doing the thing as well.
Um, I'm not doing, all this.
Oh, you doing it? Come on, we're not humble on over here. We're not humble while we
I'm,
live.
I'm just, I go live once a month with 7 other sawyers from across the country, and we talk about sawmilling. Anything you want to know about sawmilling, anything you want to know about trees, lumber, forestry. Uh, we talk about it once a month
Yeah, but what's cool,
on
what's
all of
grabbed
our
me,
channels.
that was so cool. Now, I'll let you go. I think you were asking a question. Was that you said five, six, seven other people from across the country? So
Wow.
multicasting, multi-streaming nationally, and collaborating online. I mean, that's living the dream. That's doing the thing, right? You've got a community of folks that you work with and engage with that are specialized in different aspects, and you get together once a month or whenever the case may be. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Come
it.
on, man.
I mean, it is
I'm over here
cool
hyping you
if
up. Oh Lord, this dude.
it is cool if you're in the sawmilling business or the lumber business, but when you're in the tech, I'm here because I'm not in the tech business. You know what I mean? And I want Melanie Diane, brought me here to your
Yeah,
channel,
yeah.
and I want to, and I stay here to learn all this tech stuff you guys are talking. That's why I'm here.
It's all
But
good, man.
But I think the cool thing about that is you have your own niche, right, of sawmilling. And now you have been able to put yourself in a position to where, due to technology, you're now able to connect with other people around the world, not only just, in the United States, but just globally. And now you're meeting other like-minded people that you probably would have never been able to connect with and be able to share your insights, and they share their insights, all through the power of technology. Can you expand on that?
It, what's I think what's neat for me is that one of the sawyers from Louisiana will get on there and say, yeah, our pine lumber market is down and nobody's buying this or nobody's buying this. And I can sit up here in Illinois and say, well, that's not the case up here. You know what I mean? They all want this lumber that I'm making. And the same goes for, California. The guy in California, he's all but shut down selling. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because he can't sell any of this stuff because the lumber's back down to so cheap. And but here in Illinois, we're selling. And I think that's good for the viewers too, because it doesn't matter where you're at, across the country. When you ask a question about a certain type of wood or a certain type of tree or a certain forest, our forests definitely aren't the same as, the redwoods in California,
Hmm.
and the ponderosa pines out there and the big pine trees. I don't have that here. So I don't know anything about that. When you ask a question about it, we have somebody on live. One of us knows all about the trees out there. And I think that's what the good thing is about, YouTube Live. It's all across the country like that.
See,
Nice.
Steve, you didn't know you was gonna get a lesson tonight, did you? You see.
Hey man, what's funny is I had a tree guy come knock on my door earlier today and wanted to give me a quote. And that was an interesting conversation, particularly when he left and one of his counterparts came back to give me another quote, and the quotes were different. I'm like, you guys are in the same company. What are we doing here? So, oh,
That's all right.
Was he
No, don't trip,
quoting
brother.
you
We,
on the
we we
side?
over here producing, right? I made
oh, okay,
sure
got
we
it.
producing.
Got
We
it,
we
got it.
good. I see. There you
Okay.
go.
But see, that's so now I don't know if you guys have a second device, and John has been doing this. Now, Steve, you've had a chance to check out Rebooted, right? From the
Yep,
user experience, but now
yep.
you're behind the scenes and you're seeing there's a lot of moving parts. But then how does it look vertical from your standpoint?
I like the vertical. Yeah, I like the vertical. And I can jump in on the Instagram part, but just to see what it looks like for you guys' standpoint. But I like the vertical.
Well, unfortunately, on my side, the channel that you normally check out
Oh Lord,
i- is down today, unfortunately. So,
Lord.
It's all right.
uh,
It's all right.
so we got to go over to Jay Hicks and check it out over there
Hey
because
man, this stuff lives forever. It doesn't
And then
matter.
that's what I'm telling him. That's why I'm trying to raise his spirits,
yeah,
because I could tell some wind came out of his sail about 15
Yeah,
minutes ago. Again, I'm gonna send you the isolated files in a couple of hours, and you just gonna
yeah.
premiere it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Uh,
live is in the mind of the beholder. So
man, I'm gonna put that on a
now that's
t-shirt.
true. That's true.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Mr. Jones, we see you in the background, brother. If you can turn on your camera, we will put you on screen. Appreciate you for being here as well. Um, I guess let's just go down this route, man. So for for Steve and for John, reaching your community, reaching your audience. Once Steve, you started that IG page for Yolanda Adams. Again, that was just something that you felt the need to do, that you wanted to do. How has leveraging social media changed? I don't know if it changed your life, but again, how has there been a positive impact to when you started that? Are you getting more folks that are reaching out to you saying, "Hey, you did that. Can you start one for me?" Or have you just maybe appreciated the nuance of the digital media, digital technology, social media, and all that stuff since you started that page?
I mean, it was an amazing opportunity to be able to kind of create that space when at the time Yolanda was a syndicated radio host,
Mm.
and there were not a lot of quote unquote influencers. That was not quite a thing then, and so kind of being in the forefront of that. helped, galvanize, we're doing some, I was monetizing and doing some advertising with movie companies and just some other stuff where I saw the radio was missing the beat or was kind of behind the times. They didn't know that that time was coming at that point in time. So we were able to really kind of capitalize on some, monetization at that time and really make a mark. And for me, it was a cheaper way of connecting folks other than constant contact was a popular thing back then, and it was a way of being more connected than what constant contact was providing.
Yeah.
So it was great to kind of be in the forefront of that and just kind of see how it's done its thing.
Dope. Dope. Tall boy, your other gentleman is ready. You want to bring him on? I'm just gonna put him on screen, and then
Come
we
on,
can
bring it.
have another bit of a roundtable conversation.
So our
Ladies and
next guest
gentlemen.
that we have, coming on to the stage, this brother is all about trying to find ways to have multiple streams of income.
Mm.
Uh, when I say multiple streams, he's trying to make money while he's sleeping. He is the Mr. Hack Pack himself. He has a YouTube channel called the Digital Growth Hacks, Digital Growth Hacks Club. I think that's what it is. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Where he finds SaaS tools and he finds ways to say, if you are in this business, that business, whatever business that you are in, if you use this SaaS product, we can find a way to make you some money. Without further ado, Mr. Jenny Jones.
And the man got a haircut too. Maybe I don't know. You look like you got a nice little trim early
No,
too. Jenny Jones,
no,
look
I
at you,
don't, man.
man.
He catching me at the end of the day, man. I've been on about 5 calls a day,
Yes, sir.
putting out fires, right? And but no, I appreciate you guys having me here. Tall boy, he reached out to me. I said, hey, man, listen, however I can support, I'll help you guys out. I told him I didn't have time to shave today. Today feel like a Monday, but it's actually Tuesday. So again, thank you for having me here.
No, man, appreciate you for being here as well. I mean, I'm part of your community too. I was on the other day while you were talking about some of the tools, so I'm always lurking in the back. I'm trying to leave a credit card in my pocket a lot of times when you
Yeah,
online because
people
you
say they don't come to my channel no more because they said, man, every time I come to your channel, I'm always spending money. I say, man, listen, you just get what you need.
get
And
what you
then
need. Okay.
why you had to come down to you can just come down to my house. You right up the street.
That's why you put my business out there. Oh man.
Got it. Got it.
Don't put me out there. We were gonna do that. We're gonna do a face to face. But I wanted to also put your channel on page as well because, and again, we're not being humble today. Just the value that you're bringing. And I know Tallboy talked about it as well. The value that you're bringing to your community, talking about lifetime deals, SaaS tools, uh, tools to help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs make recurring revenue and focus on the thing that they're supposed to focus on instead of the software, the hardware, whatever the case may be. You've got a thriving community and uh, keep doing it, man. Because we watching, folks are watching. Like I say, I'm lurking in the background, trying not to spend money, but I like how you have built
Lurking in the background.
your enterprises with an S. So let me
Yeah,
do.
no,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I
Go
was going to
ahead.
say, I wanted to ask John that same question that I asked Steve, and then Tallboy let you chime in as well while I try to do some admin stuff behind the scenes to see why your channels aren't logging, and then we have our other guests logged in. John, since you started streaming, since you started collaborating cross country, how has that kind of changed um, your perception? Because you said you're not necessarily a technical guy, but you're using a pretty advanced tool to reach a global audience. And what have you learned over the time that you've been one doing it solo, then also working collaboratively with all of your other folks?
Yeah, what's amazing to me is you can go from uh, you can use DaVinci Resolve, or you can use your iPhone,
Oh, this man said
to
Vinci
produce
Resolve.
these videos. And I mean, I'm using DaVinci Resolve and spending all this time editing, and two guys on the East Coast got their iPhone and they have more views than I do, and more viewers than I do, and more subscribers, and they're not doing any editing, you know. and that's what surprises me is that it doesn't, you can do whatever. GoPros and cameras and all that doesn't really matter. You know, I love all that. I love all the, the filming and the editing and doing all that. But for the guy on the West Coast, he's he runs like 4 old iPhones. That's all he produces his videos with. But the way he tells a story,
Mm.
you know, is, I mean, even you guys who don't know anything about and don't care anything about forestry, you can go watch his channel and his videos, and you're like, there's an interesting storyteller. You know what I mean? I just popped in here for a minute because John said to go watch his video, and now I'm 15 minutes into the video and I don't know why. You know what I mean? But I'm still watching this guy. You know, that's what I find amazing.
Next thing
All
you
the
know,
different
we're binge
perspectives.
watching Davidson's All Natural
Yeah.
Gym and bringing
Mhm.
in some more revenue for him on the monetization perspective. That's
Can I
cool.
comment on that really
Oh,
quick
most
for
definitely, man.
John, really quick? Yeah, John, what I noticed is I remember when I first started streaming, I always hear these rumors, oh, you got to do this, you got to, woman has to look perfect, man has. Sometimes when you just go raw and you go straight on, people like the authentic, unedited um people. They like those channels a lot more because they know you're just keeping it real, or
Mm-hmm.
shall we say you're keeping it 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you do that, I think people are gravitate to that because there's so many people that are fake, right?
Right.
And so when you say your other friend they don't edit or whatever, some people just like that, and that's why a lot of vlogs do well because they're just giving you unaudited. Hey, this is unedited. Hey, this is where I'm at the store today. Blah blah blah. And that I just thought I'd add that in there for you.
Jenny Jones in here bringing value, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts out to my man down the street.
Oh, I like it.
I'm not gonna give the address out, but okay. Listen, let me do this before we move on because we got another gentleman that has joined from the background, and we got a lot of musicians here, right? Or a lot of folks that have been part of the music industry. We got a lot of talented folks, and this guy right here coming from Legacy. I'm gonna tell it, man. It's from Sony, He's got his guitars hanging up in his studio, so he knows how to string the strings and do the thing, but also does a lot of podcasting, heavy on the audio side, which is amazing. Love that. But also helping organizations, individuals, entrepreneurs with their video podcasts, with their video editing, with their productions for webinars and things of that nature. So, man, Chris
Oh,
Stone,
whoa,
Dealcasters. I don't know. Too many
What
companies. Cast Ahead, Dealcasters. Let's
wow.
I need to just do one thing.
what?
Just got to do one thing,
What you gonna do?
James, and make sure I get that recording because I'm gonna use that's gonna be my
That's
like
it
when I
right there.
take the
Listen.
stage, I'm just gonna they get that buttery smooth sound of James Hicks in their ears, right in their ear holes.
Listen,
Gentlemen,
SM7B.
congratulations on season 1. I'm a fan. Everybody on the screen is a fan, and I just hope you get renewed for season 2. But you're not on Tallboy's channel, so I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have
There
to
you
work
go.
that out.
God dang, there
You're
you
gonna have to
go.
work it out.
Listen,
Netflix. I
I
don't
don't, I don't,
know.
I don't want to say nothing bad about Restream because we still working together. We got relations, so I don't want to say nothing negative about it right now. It was supposed to be there. It's not
I'm trying
there.
to help Tallboy out here, Hicks. I'm trying to
Chris,
help
I
him out.
appreciate you because if
All
it
right,
was
man.
me that had said it, then it's like here he go.
There
But
he
the fact
go.
that we got a guest, the guest is saying the guest is saying it, and I appreciate it because at least I know it's real.
There you go. There you go. Play all
Oh,
this. Play all your
oh.
your your triggers and your sound effects so you can get it out of your system, man. Chris, let me ask you this since you just chimed in and asked the other folks and Jenny chimed in, but I still want to bring it back to him as well. I mean, you do a lot of things with audio and video. You are my Mr. Miyagi for Descript for my
Wax
new
on,
yeah,
wax off.
everything that you do. I soak it up like a sponge, so I appreciate you for that. But how has transitioning into a digital entrepreneur, right, and doing the like you're just doing 2 hours ago podcast and webinar production? video editing for clients of all sizes. How has that changed um, how you perceive technology in and of itself? Just because you have the tools now, because you individually have the tools. Yeah, you have a team, but how has that
Mhm.
changed your perception of how technology has evolved over the short, mid, and long term?
What hasn't changed is serving people and making people look and sound good.
Mm,
And that's never changed. That ever since, somebody was playing an instrument and somebody else was recording them, and so like transitioning from the music business into doing podcasting and live streaming and all of that stuff. I mean, musicians are content creators. Gentleman here working with Yolanda Adams, I did a lot of stuff for Verity Records back in the day, and when they were with BMG and Sony, and all of them, whether it's Richard Smallwood or whether it's John P. Key or whether it's Yolanda Adams, they're content creators, right? And
Mhm.
they have a mission, and they trust people like us to make them look and sound good, make sure that their stuff's on Spotify because they don't know how all that stuff works in the background. So making the transition into doing that for creators who were doing podcasting was, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was like I had already done the work for people who were doing that already. It was just a matter of gaining the connections of people that were doing it in this other media.
when I saw Steve nod his head when you started dropping names, the little recognition, right? Like, okay, maybe this cat do know.
Yeah, y'all didn't think I knew about gospel, did you?
No, I
You're like this
know,
this guy this guy
I
shows up with
know.
a 12-string bass and starts talking about John P. Key.
There we go.
There we go. Tall boy, what you got, man? Go and take it over for a minute while I do some admin behind the scenes to make sure you get
Yeah,
ready. Get
John
right.
P. Key.
So now that we're in the podcast world or live streaming world, how have, and I know in the beginning it was one of those situations where I don't know if I really want to put myself on camera, so maybe I'll just pre-record. But now we're actually in that live streaming sector, starting with Jenny, moving to Chris, then going to David, and then going over to Steve. We're gonna work from the top to bottom. How did you make that transition? Because a lot of people are not ready to say I want to be on camera when it comes to actual live streaming. What made you say, yeah, you know what? Let me just go ahead and put my face out there.
Mm.
That's a good question. What I found was you have for me, I never wanted to be on camera. My wife was like, "Oh man, you need to go. You got to get teeth whiteners and all this." I was like, "Man, listen, I'm going on."
Wow.
She said that because some of the people that she was following, right, was they had talked about going to get veneers and doing all this other stuff. And she said, "You can't be on TV if you don't have. You can't be on screen if you." I was like, "Man, I'm just going straight. If people pick up, they pick up." And what I started to learn was when you speak into the camera, you're always speaking to someone, right? Even though
Mm.
there may be a million people on YouTube, there's that one person you're always speaking to. And if you always keep that in the back of your mind, you're gonna do fine. You're gonna do well. And I started doing that, and the audience started picking up, and the subscribers started picking up, and I kept it real with everyone, and it just started picking up. So one thing I will say, and as I before I turn this over, is I've come to this realization that everyone is going to have a channel. You for some type of because I'm heavy into finance and I'm heavy into IT, three master's degrees, not trying to flex or anything like that is, but I'm
Flex, brother.
understanding and I'm seeing this transition
Hmm.
to, when you have people come in and start laying people off for no reason, things of that nature, you always have to have something that you're always going to have to generate revenue while you're asleep, right? And digital is the only thing. When I did real estate, the challenge with that was I had to be everywhere at one time, and it was impossible. And I had to depend on so many people, and the people are supposed to come in and install the toilets today, but they can't be here. They got to come back in 2 weeks. But then time is money, right? And I was like, there's got to be an easier way to generate revenue, right? Then when I got into the digital realm, I was like, oh, this is not bad because I could be asleep and I'll wake up and my Stripe account is hit, right? And I started doing that. I was like, oh, because I kind of got addicted to making money digitally. And I said, okay, so what other ways can I make money digitally? And then streaming was one of those ways. But one of the things that I'm realizing is just like in the, just like the major channels, the ABC, CBS, and stuff like that, it's really the ads. So if you're not getting your money at the top where the ad spin is, then by the time it gets down to you through, YouTube or whatever, or even Spotify, you're getting pennies,
Yeah.
halves of pennies. So you have to figure out a way to make sure you get your money off the top. And that's where some of the things that I do, I show people how to get their money off the top. Just quit getting your stuff at the bottom. So that's what I'll add to it. Hopefully that was enough. So thank you.
Chris?
Yeah, tall boy. I think it's an excellent question because I think right now, especially in podcasting, video is it's just not an option anymore to not do
Hmm.
it. If you really listen, if you want to do a podcast and only do audio, it's okay. You can do that, but you're also choosing to not get found as much. And that is, and the gentleman just made that point is it's spot on. You have to put yourself out there. Like when I'm working with clients and we're bringing guests onto their shows. The first thing I look for is a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
If they don't have a YouTube channel, what are we doing? Right? I mean, if you don't, you have to have a YouTube channel. You have to have yourself on video, or at least doing video somewhere, whether it's LinkedIn or wherever. To me, it's like, well, what are they hiding? Right. And so I think a lot of people just have to, for me, I didn't do a lot of video. I didn't have myself on the camera a lot, when over the years. And a lot of it was I would record myself instead of live. So back to your question, tall boy, instead of live, I would record, myself or shows. And by the time I was done with it, I'd spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours editing it. And when you do that, you don't look and sound like yourself anymore, and no one trusts you, right? And so when you do go live, it does two things. It garners trust with the people who are following you on that journey. And for me, I was able to overcome perfectionism and just be like, you know what? The live video is how I'm going to overcome perfection. I just have to learn how to speak better. I can't say and and all of these other little, these are the things that we all do, right? I have to be a better speaker live so that I can edit less. And so when people meet me, they know it's me. It's not some edited version of myself.
Wow. Let's hold on. Let that marinate just for a minute.
So
Boy,
done is
that boy said
done is
something.
better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. I
Yes.
learned that a while ago. Yeah, once I learned that, I was just like, man, I'm put it out. So good stuff, Chris. Good stuff.
Man,
John,
we got some winners here.
you've been in this game, and I don't know your journey because I'm just now seeing your YouTube channel. What do you think of this?
I think I'm glad I watched Chris, and James and Melanie and all those guys. But it, my going live wasn't a problem for me because I know I'm no good at it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I started recording videos like I was live. I put the video out, no editing, and that was it. And that's what you get. So going live wasn't a jump for me. I didn't edit my videos for the first year anyway. They were all the mistakes were in there, all the ums are probably still in there, most of them.
Nice.
Hold on, man. I know we got something that we wanted to bring up. I'm gonna bring up that infographic talk that you gave me, but this is pretty cool.
You messing up where I'm going with this,
Okay,
James.
you keep going. No, I just want to make sure we don't deviate from this. Keep going, brother. Keep going.
I'm doing my part, and
Do
then
your part.
it was a setup. I threw up the alley oop. Come on, James. We've been doing this for a minute. We've been doing this for 10 shows now. Come on now. My brother down here at the bottom, Steve.
You set me up, Tall Boy. That's what I think you're doing.
And so,
you set me up.
Full disclaimer. He and I have had talks, and I'll let him go as far as he wants to go on wherever those talks want to go in. But he's watched what I've done, and then now to hear these other people, you still got to answer the first question. But what's your take on this?
Ah, this is trash. No, I think
He gonna log off, right? He gonna leave the
yeah, I'm
studio.
done. So, just for me, I've been a behind the scenes guy for 30 plus years, and have made my, whatever you want to say I've made, and I've been really comfortable with that. So being out front, has never been my thing. But Tall Boy has been pushing me to, just kind of share some of the information that I've been given and some of the experiences I've had, and I've gotten some calls and just different variations of things to share. So one of the things I got to get over is it feels like it's great to talk to you guys, but it just feel talking to what seems like nobody would be problematic for me. So a dialogue is what would be interesting in my space versus just being solo and just talking to, I'm not a radio DJ guy. I just can't talk to the microphone and that's it. But the dialogue I can really wrap my arms around. So I got a Tall Boy. I need your help figuring this out, but I think I'm
And
inspired by these fellas and let's go. Let's do it.
so the positive in all of this is it doesn't matter where you are because
Yeah.
everybody's at their own journey and at their own level. So it's no bash to anybody because there's some people that are watching and like, I wish I could do what they have. And I wish I had that. What kind of equipment are they using? You can start with your phone and just turn it on. And the funny thing about it is my girlfriend, she was in the kitchen the other day cooking and she sees all this equipment and she turned on her phone and she just started cooking and people were watching her live and I'm like, she got more people on her live watching her doing this, and I'm getting in my feelings because I'm like, I do this, and she over there like, well, I'm gonna show you, and he don't like it when he all in my video like Suge Knight, and she checking me, and I'm like, but you got to start and use and go where you are. And to anybody that's watching, you can see everybody's at their different levels. James is sometimes I'm enamored by what he can do. And I'm looking at Chris Stone's background. I'm looking at Jenny's background. You see John's background. And it's like, and I just got this plain little black background with two signs hanging up, so it's nothing fancy, but it's just start, if that makes sense. And so, well, what and the reason why I asked all of you guys this question is because there was an article that just came out today, and James is going to put this up, and I don't have the article in front of me, so James, you're going to have to probably help me preface it. But they were saying that podcasts or YouTube, no, not that one. Oh, we're a little early on that one.
Oh, nothing.
Uh, now the article one. Oh, you telling on yourself now.
Oh my gosh. There you
The other
go.
article,
We
the other
live.
article.
We live.
Yeah, we live,
Nobody
dog.
can sound one thing I wanted to say is Steve, if you need to notice, you're not going to sound as good as James, no matter what you do, no matter what equipment you buy. You're not. That guy sounds like $1,000,000. He had me out here buying all kind of stuff, and I was like, man, I need that sound. I
You're
need
gonna
that
spend that
sound.
money. You're gonna spend that money.
I do. I got some. I don't use it on this system. See, I've grown up
Yeah.
learning from Tall Boy. I do have another system that I'm getting that way, but I just wanted to put that out there. No,
I
Man,
appreciate that.
that's
Appreciate
gonna be
that,
my
man.
little
Appreciate
sound
that.
bite right there. In 2 hours, that's gonna be all over the internet. And so, Tom, check this. Before you go into this, the thing that I wanted to not gloss over, because sometimes we do, right? We make assumptions. You just made kind of a joke about it, but man, it doesn't matter what the look like is. It's the content. It's the reaching the community. John's got his community that he's out there, and they talking about cutting down trees and different parts of the country. Jenny's over here uh, talking about SaaS platform. Right? Everyone has their own niche, and everyone just shows up. And just shows up and talks to their community, not at their community, but actually has that dialogue, has that conversation, and the production is down the road. It can starting with the phone, starting with just a couple of little Target lights, or no, we don't mess with Target no more. Starting with a little little who we got over here, the Philips Hues or something. You can rock with those, but you don't have to spend the exorbitant amount of money to get all the things. But I like what Jenny said too. If you don't have a channel, if you don't have your own digital real estate yet, you're gonna need to get it, because we always talk about this IT revolution, this AI revolution, and the fact that it's coming. No, it's not coming. It's already here, and you got to get on this bandwagon. This solopreneur, this entrepreneur, this conversation of mortgage versus rent. It's something that we really live in. So I didn't want to gloss over that because you all kind of touched on that a little bit, and I think that there was value in that. See, there we go. That little segue
So,
back into your story, brother.
so I'm going to give this brief story because now it has something to say, and I hope this resonates with somebody. I live in the Atlanta market, and when I was working in radio, I worked for a uh,
Call them out. Call them out.
I don't want to call them out, but I work for
Learn today.
a top 10 market. I was in the top 10 market, right? And they told me that I would never get on air. I would never get on air because I had no experience. I did everything that I could. I was out shining, and I wasn't even in that department. I was the low man on the totem pole doing promotions. All
Mm.
right, that's just what it was. I'm doing promotions, but you could tell that I had this hunger, I had this grind, and I felt like I had a voice. My dream was to be the first on air website personality. I didn't want to be a radio personality. I wanted to be an on air person. I just wanted to create the videos and say, and they said, Tall boy, that job's not available. What I'm trying to say is I finagled, I hustled, I did whatever I had to do to get my opportunity to get on air. And my mentor, his name is Sideman Baby. Rest in peace. This man is a legend here in Atlanta. When I got the day they said, Tallboy, you're going onto the radio on Saturday night. This is your time slot. I went to my mentor and I asked him, I said, will you listen to me? You're going to be leaving the club. Will you check me out? Well, you got 2 hours to get home. Will you check me out? And he told me no. And I was devastated. What you mean you're not going to listen to me? Like, you groomed me. Everything you taught me. He said, it's going to be a disaster. I said, excuse me? He said, it's going to be a disaster. And I said, oh, no, it's not. I've been watching you. I know my stuff. And sure enough, first break come, I did my thing. And as soon as those commercials hit, I start pressing other buttons. And I was a deer lost in headlights. And I was so embarrassed. And I was live streaming back then. I was live streaming the show. And those 5 people, and I know who they are, they were watching that show. And we still joke about it. Come on, remember you was panicking in the studio that night? And man, that was hilarious. I mean, they clown me. And we were live streaming on Tallboy. So I was ahead of my time. We were live streaming the show from my website, but I literally, a top 10 market in the United States, I bombed. But what happened was it was a collection of work. So from that first day, it can only go up from there. It can only go up. That's all it could do. And so I say to anybody who's looking at live streaming, wanting to be on camera, just know it's probably not going to be perfect, but you got to start where you are. And then all you can do is say, how can I get better? As James says, if I can get 1% better, today, that's all that matters. It's getting 1% better each and every day. There's no such thing as a flawless stream. There's no such thing because maybe you could have said one less song. So I say all of that to anybody and this is why I asked, because everybody's in their different levels here. So now you're hearing these stories and maybe someone that's watching saying, maybe I want to do this, but I just don't know what to say. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Hopefully my story, hearing their words, hopefully that will give you the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to turn that camera on and I'm going to go live this week. Hopefully that helps. I say all of that to say, because James and we found this article and they were saying that YouTube is the new way to podcast, or the new TV. I hope I'm saying that right. Correct me if I'm wrong, James, but basically this is where everything is going. Everything that if you're not on YouTube, if you don't have a channel on YouTube, then you don't have, as Chris said earlier, you don't have a digital footprint. And basically all these major channels are now going to YouTube because that's where the people are watching. And I thank everyone that has watched us. 9 times out of 10, majority of them have caught us on YouTube. You may have seen a notification on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. But where do you end up 9 times out of 10 before the end of the week? Find yourself back on YouTube. And that's where podcasting, that's where the new personalities are being found. Your thoughts on that? Anybody can jump in.
I want to see that that first video, the tall boy video. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, I think you need to put that on your channel.
Listen.
We need to see that, and I guarantee
I
you will see
guarantee.
tremendous amount of followers and likes and subscribes if you put out that first video, and then that would really inspire me. I think I'd be galvanized.
If I had it, I would. I don't have that video anymore because remember, we were live streaming. We were using a
Yeah.
software called Ustream back in the day. And I don't remember how any of that stuff worked. And we can go down that rabbit hole at a later
It's
time
all
of day
good.
for people
It's
that
all
are
good.
interested.
All good.
But
It'll be on this channel right here, folks. Go make sure you
Yes.
subscribe to I Am Talk. It's going to be in the description if you don't already have it. So once he finds it, it's going to be
Yes.
right there near the top. It's going.
That's
that's
it.
hilarious. Y'all are funny.
You know, pin that.
Yeah.
You know,
But
yeah.
I
people,
will say I'm inspired though. You guys have definitely inspired me.
Peace.
So-
you know,
so your
people
thought-
when they think that this is mind junk. This is what we call mind junk. The reason why you don't hit that big red button is because you're comparing yourself to somebody else, and your YouTube algorithm is feeding you the best of the best. They're not feeding you the worst of the worst, and you automatically feel like you'll never be able to sound like James Hicks. You're never going to be able to have, Tom Buck gear review. You're never going to have all of the, but that's what's feeding you, and you think that's more of that out there. And the fact of the matter is, most people are worse than everybody that's on this stream right now. And so that mind junk keeps you from creating and from just doing. And here's a little trick that I like to do. I like to find, look at a feed and go, oh wow, that YouTuber looks really great. I go to their channel, I go to their videos, and then I sort by earliest video. And sometimes it goes back years, 13 years, and watch that video. And then tell me how you feel. And that'll make you feel like, okay, now if this person can go from here to here, and you could do it in less than 13 years is my point. But, it's not, initially it's about the reps, to your point, Tallboy. It's about getting that in, powering through that first one. I'm sorry, your first one's gonna suck. Mine did. Everyone here, it did. Or, you have a problem where, like Tallboy just talked about, or I've got a friend, Jeff C., and some of you know who Jeff C. is. He did his first live stream, and right before he had to talk, he spilled ice water right into his lap.
Wow.
Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're live, and you're just like, it's actually good, because when that happens, you're like, let's just get that out of the way, and let's just go.
Go back and look at some of Mr. Beast. I went back and looked at some of his when he first
he was
started.
terrible for a long time.
One of the biggest YouTubers out there, multi-millionaire over and over again. Some of his first videos are like, what is he doing? He's running into the wall, breaking CDs, doing crazy stuff. And, if I can tell you nothing else, and I think, everybody else has said it here, and Steve, you're going to move past that. So because I think everybody was there. Everybody was, well, I don't want to be on camera or what have you. I just think when you turn on the camera, you're speaking to somebody. One of the things that I started to do was, now I'm getting to scripting some of my stuff. I need to I keep my points. I know what I want to say. But when I just started hopping on, I had to imagine at least one person that I was speaking to, that I was talking to, and I was trying to help. And if I kept that person, like for the things you do, you can talk about behind the scenes things, right? Some of the things that people don't see. I think if you did a lot of behind the scenes on what it takes to even make some of those people look good, I think that'd be fascinating for people to see. And you can, and then here's another thing about that. You're passionate about that. So anything that you're passionate about, you start talking about, you will, and a lot of people say, oh, I burn out. Not if you're passionate about it, because you start talking about it, you start sharing it, and it's not even work anymore. And then people start commenting. They'll say, "Yeah, man, I've never seen that before. I've never." And one of the things someone told me today, actually earlier, they said one of the things about you that was different from everybody else, because there's a couple of people doing what you do, is they said you're just authentic. You don't try to, you're not trying to be anybody else. You're just being you. And they've told me where other people have tried to do some of the things I do. And they said, I notice it. I said, they can't do that because I'm me. And they're like,
Mhm.
right. You're so authentic that other people can tell when other people are trying to be you and it doesn't come off genuine to them. And I was like,
Hmm.
really, I just turn on the camera and I'm just me. And it's hard to be me because God only made one of me.
I like that too.
So.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I know I'm definitely being authentic because only of the four people on this planet that can get through when my phone is on do not disturb calls. So I know y'all heard the phone
Oh,
ring just now. Uh,
oh, I thought it was because of your mic.
see, come on now. The
What mic are you using?
shouts
What we
out.
got going
This
on?
is Michael. This is the Michael Jackson mic. This SM7 DB though.
Okay.
He had the B.
Oh,
This is the DB. Yeah.
Okay.
I just
oh.
I know my way around the audio interface as well. So I got my bottom end. I got my so okay. Let's
I'm
move
gonna have
on.
you come over and because I have one. I haven't been able to tune it just right. I use it on my other rig, my
Yeah.
other setup,
Yeah.
and I got the Rodecaster Pro over here.
Yeah.
So I have a whole nother setup that I've grown into. But saying that to say this, that when I started out at my kitchen table, and I started out with a little mic I bought from Best Buy. I've made so much
Was that
money
the Blue
by just
Yeti?
turning on the camera, huh?
Was that a
Blue
Blue
Yeti.
Yeti?
Yeah. I've made so much money. And it's funny because my wife, my kids are all laughing. It was like, Dad, man, you only got 2 subscribers. I've made so much money from just turning on the camera that I got the high end stuff now. And
All right. All right.
I have a whole separate setup for that. I didn't even turn it because I came on here last minute. So I'm just using this system. But I'm just letting you know how that's kind of how it happened. And I
Yeah.
can go back and just, it was crazy. I was like, man,
See,
only got
there's
two
value in that
subscribers.
there too, right? Again, it's not that we're not chasing numbers, we're not chasing subscribers, we're not chasing
No,
necessarily
no.
That's
memberships,
right.
and not chasing necessarily the YouTube monetization. That's nice, right? I mean, those are nice feathers in the cap, but Jenny, you got um, valuable additional services that you provide. Chris, you have
Mhm.
all these digital assets and digital products and this knowledge that you have. Tallboy, you do remote production, right? We've got an enterprise around the digital storefront. Digital storefront is just, hey, that front door coming in, and then everyone's got a plethora of stuff. So I would ask this, and Tallboy, I'm sorry, I interrupting you while you're in the middle, but I'm an old guy and things start popping into my head. So if I don't say it, I'll forget. um, what are you doing, Steve and John, outside of just that forward facing? Right. You got your channel on YouTube where you have other loggers and you're talking about cutting down trees and things like that. Steve, you got the IG channel that you've started. I mean, are you seeing other folks asking you how to do the thing? Can you do the thing for me? Are you branching out and finding variable or other various streams of income outside, again, just YouTube monetization, subscriber growth, maybe memberships and things like that? Are you making your own merch?
He wants
I'm,
to know if you started a digital agency.
come on, brother. See, that's Jenny over there with the big
Chris, you
words.
like that one? You like that one,
Chris,
Chris?
Chris, see Jenny with the big words. I'm a blue collar man. I'm just
Hey,
Make it plain,
I'm
Pastor.
trying to keep the lights on, man. I'm
come on
trying
now.
to pay my tithes, trying to pay my tithes and keep the lights on. Those two things, yes, in that order. So
Amen.
I
I'm
guess
messing around. Go ahead, Steve. I'm
I
messing
guess for
around.
me, I've only primarily used my social media, my personal social media, as a social media element.
Okay.
So it's only my friends and family who are still in my social media space, and that's purposeful. Um, I am okay with the not the revenue part. I see,
Uh-oh.
so that could be interesting to me, but I've not gotten into the social space to make money from it
Mm.
initially. However, there is I see the window. I see the doors of that church opening,
Yeah, man,
and I
come
see it
on
wide
now,
open.
boy.
And
We about to.
as we
About
are
to bring an
trying to
offering.
travel less and throttle down on some of this other stuff I'm doing.
For
I don't
sure.
mind uploading old content to make new money. So that's kind of what I'm seeing at this point.
I like that.
Man,
Old
So,
man,
I'm
content
gonna steal
for money.
that.
yeah.
Well, I like that.
Old
Old
con-
content for some new money.
I'm gonna stop using repurpose. I'm gonna start using old money or what is old
Oh,
content to new money. I
Mm.
love that.
man.
ooh.
Put that
That's
on
why
the
I
Yeah, I
shirt.
perked
just
up
need
like this. I was like, oh,
2%, y'all. Kick me down
You better
2%.
put
That's all
That's
you
All right,
need?
all
all right.
percentage.
All he wants is 2. Hey,
What's
Percentage.
hey,
your
tall
Venmo?
boy, we gonna
he
go through the
said
catalog
2%.
and we gonna put it. We
See,
gonna
that's
put
a
it in
t-shirt right
Descript.
there. Old content equals new money. Look,
This
Got
you
it.
got
guy said
Love
three
it.
2.
people that said it now. Like that's your first piece of
He
merch. Old content
he
equals
Thank you.
new
said
Thank
money.
you.
2%.
Appreciate that.
2%.
None about on
Come on,
creative
John,
first.
talk to us, man. Tell us what you're thinking over there, John.
I'm I'm thinking about opening up a merch store right now
Boom.
and making a t-shirt. It's gonna say old content, new money.
John gonna be the first
It's a
one with
race
it.
to fourth wall. It's a race to fourth wall right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
John gonna be the first one
No,
to have it. You know what? That's funny. But that's
it was never about money in the beginning. I know that.
wow. I like that.
And I'm not saying I I just put it out there because I honestly enjoy, the videos. I won't tell the embarrassing story about why I made the first video that I deleted, but I just put it out there because I enjoy making, videos and I enjoy this. And now that you're, connected to sawyers all across the country and everybody's sharing their tips and tricks, and you realize that, everybody doesn't know it all, and all these
Yeah.
YouTubers and all these people on YouTube are like, how do you do that? How do you do this? And you're like, man, that's a video right there. You know what I mean? I need to make
Oh, for
that video
sure.
right there, not to make money, but to help this guy out. And that's honestly, you know what I mean? What I was in it for. So
Well,
these
you
little
wouldn't be
merch
making
store.
it for YouTube ad money because that was the biggest disappointment I think that I realized once I monetized. I was like, hmm. So the money really comes from galvanizing the people that's following your channel, right? The ad revenue is it's 3 legs to the stool. The ad revenue initially is the smallest leg of the stool. So you'll
Mm.
notice. So if you're chasing, I think the biggest disappointment is when people they're trying to go after the monetization and try and it becomes a grind to try to get to the monetization. And then when you get there, you're like, wait a minute, I did all this grinding and this is what I got. And really reason why is because they pay you per 1,000 views. And so, I mean, that would probably be a whole nother show, but it's not. I've made 10 to 20x more off of YouTube than what YouTube pays me.
Yeah.
So it's because you're so passionate about what you're doing, you could then create your own community, right? And then from your own community, you can probably create your own software to allow people to see what the logging prices are for different pieces of wood. Oh, okay, so let me slow down here.
No, you over here about to have
John,
a
he got a
Jenny's
hack.
hack pack.
He
Yeah,
got a
he
hack
about
pack. He got the sawmill pack. He got the sawmill pack.
I
I got
felt
the
it coming.
saw.
Hey.
I got the sawmill pack, man.
Hold on. So when we say hack pack, a lot of people do not know who Jenny Jones is. Jenny Jones got the peanut butter and jelly pack. He got the Thanksgiving pack. He got the turkey pack. And when he first started, and I'll let him tell that story, but I called him. I called him when he came out with the Thanksgiving pack 3 years ago. I said, bro, you got something. And I'll let him tell the
That's
rest
true.
of the story because I think
That's
that there was
true.
not a lot of support from his family. And now every holiday, every Thanksgiving, and every Christmas, he got a hack pack and he has branded whatever it is. I got the
The
dressing.
cornucopia Black Friday hack pack.
Now that I won an award for that.
Come on now, I know
So
you did.
So
don't make fun of my cornucopia pack because I threw like 5 tools in there, and from all the different tools, you can create like 5 different revenue streams from all the tools that you put into it. So I called it the cornucopia pack. So the company that was sponsoring everything, they called me and says, we were trying to look for the most creative video. You had the most creative video. And I was sitting there saying to myself, that's what I do. That's kind of where it started from. And I think everybody here has a unique gift and unique talent. This whole wood thing, I'm amazed in that because being a former stockbroker, I can see how wood in California may be a different price from wood in Nebraska, but having or creating a newsletter that would post a price. Oh man, I keep going.
Come on,
There I go again.
here
Don't
he go.
stop holding it in, boy.
No, hit-
Chris, Chris were like, wait, what? So no, I mean, I've heard. Now I don't know because I'm building a newsletter now. But people have sold their newsletters for like
Yeah.
$5 to $20 million a newsletter. And the reason why is because it's the demographics of the newsletter
Hmm.
that people don't have to, these large companies don't have to pay for.
Right.
They don't have to pay. They are you already have the demo. You know that's a woman or male. They're interested in the types of things that you do. And then what they do is you measure what people click on in the newsletter so people can garner the demographics of it. And then you keep the newsletter the same, and then people will buy your newsletter for millions.
Yep.
So
Well,
before you do that,
Chris,
if you want this Jenny juice, if you want this juice, you got to go over to his digital. What put his YouTube channel up?
oh my
You got to go
God.
over to the YouTube channel and you got to hit the like and subscribe button. We're gonna get
This
some
Jenny
man
followers.
juice.
said the
People
Jenny
are
juice.
thirsty
Hold
out here.
on,
Give 'em the
ladies. Yeah.
juice.
Oh
Give 'em the
my
man,
juice.
God. He
Jenny
said
If you
juice.
watch
the
the
digital
video,
growth
that's
has
as they
to
called the
call it, the
Jenny juice.
Jenny juice.
If you want the Jenny
Yeah.
juice, he giving you the juice, John. You got to come on over here if y'all watching and you like this juice.
John is like, wait, what?
Well, I tell you what. So here's the thing, John. We're not picking on you and we're not ganging up on you, but I did reach out
No, no.
and got MDH here. So she's in the comments right there. Oh my goodness, what is this party that I'm missing? So
What's up, Mel?
we got MDH in the building here as well to encourage
What's
us
up,
all. So
Mel?
appreciate you for being here, friend.
How you doing, Melanie? A long
Yeah.
time. I haven't seen her in a while.
Well,
So,
she's fancy. She
once
travels a
again,
lot.
a lot of people don't. So you guys are laughing, but if you go to his channel and you follow, like James said, he's got the cornucopia pack, he's got the Thanksgiving pack, he got the turkey pack, he got the ham, he got the sides pack. He got it all, and then he's got his
Oh,
little
man.
thing. If y'all want this Jenny juice. And I'm waiting for him to come up with like a water bottle that says Jenny juice over there on his merch store. Because people, Jenny, if you get it, I'll buy it. If you get you a water bottle that says Jenny juice, I'll make sure I buy it. I'll be your first customer.
I get that up the fourth wall immediately, Chris.
I tell you what, let me go ahead and send my referral link to y'all right quick so we can get this fourth wall affiliate revenue going right quick.
So I really
Okay.
want to go back, and I don't want to go away from where we're going, but look at what we're talking about. And that article that we were talking about, James, if you can kind of give them a summary of what that article was saying, more along the lines of these TV, people watch TV, but now people are over here on YouTube now. And now Jenny is his own star. John is his own star. Chris is his own star. James is his own star. And now we're down the new stars of the new TV, if that makes sense. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And I know a lot of you, I know you guys haven't seen this article, but James, if you can give them a summary of this article.
And what you said is pretty much right on point, and you guys can answer in any kind of way. It's just we've talked about it a little bit already. You got to have that digital real estate. You folks are now really starting, and the analytics show it. The Nielsen's of the world show it. All of the folks that watch ratings and viewership, things of that. YouTube is where it is because it's portable. It's the second biggest search engine on the planet next to Google, which are all part of the same company. So all those things work in conjunction with each other. And the fact that there's engagement with it, right? Everyone can create their own identity on YouTube as well. And that's what folks want to start engaging with. Folks want to engage with the creator and the community and have that relationship. And you can't necessarily do that with the CNNs, the CNBCs, the MSNBC, those types of things. You actually want to have the consumer wants that one-on-one relationship with John. They want to talk to Steve. They want to talk to, right? They want to have that type of relationship, and you can build that environment when you own that digital real estate, when you build that community and you go live at a certain period of time. So people are fiending for you. They're expecting you at Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. Oh, reboot it. We're going to be there on all the channels, and they expect that, and we can bring up the comments, and we can engage directly with the Melanies and the Shirleys and the Kevin Coxes and everyone, those people in the world. it's I will say this as well too, because I saw this really come to light at NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters Conference, a couple of months ago. Large brands are realizing finally that the creator is the boss. The creator actually is the one that's leading the discussion. It's no longer the large advertising houses looking down at us and saying this is what you will do. No, it's the creators deciding that maybe I'll do some UGC, some user generated content on this mug and say I like this mug. I like the design, I like its functionality, and then shoot an email or shoot a copy of it over to the brand in and of it themselves with your terms, with your rate, with how you want to do business. And they're seeing that. And you know what? The creator is actually in the driver's seat now as it comes to revenue, branding, advertising, and things of that. So it's refreshing to see because there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into putting something together into building this enterprise. And we've talked about burnout. But if you love what you do, I like what John said. If you love what you do, you're not necessarily going to let yourself get to that point because you're either going to leverage a team or you're going to start doing things the right way using those Jenny Juice tools and stuff like that. But that's what this story is talking about. Vanity Fair, major publication saying that, listen, pay attention to YouTube, pay attention to digital content creators because digital content creators is winning. And they're focusing on podcasts, and I and they're using the word podcast for video because video is king because people want to see James doing the jazz hands and the emotion. People want to see that piece right there, and uh, that future is today. How was that? Is that a good summary of what it was there, brother?
That's right on. Chris,
Okay.
what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, these are all good points. I'll underscore a couple of things. I think, kind of going back to what Jenny was saying about AdSense and the strive to get monetized, right? As a YouTube channel, you can don't let the platform be the monetization driver for you. Create monetization on the way there, and then that becomes the frosting. Your margarita money on Friday is your AdSense money that YouTube pays you on the 21st. Like you just have to understand, like, yeah, this is fantastic, and we know we need to be on YouTube, but at any point in time, the rug can get pulled out,
Mm-hmm.
and all you lose your YouTube channel, or you like
Mhm.
that's a real thing. We go live on Amazon, and that whole platform went through a whole transition over the past probably year and a half, and went from considerable amount of money to considerably less. And but if you have your head screwed on straight and you understand, from a 10,000-foot view how you're trying to build your brand and how you're trying to build your business, and don't build your house upon the sand,
Mm.
and the email list is the perfect example that Jenny Juice was talking about. There is, like, that is that there's power in that niche of people that you are solving problems for, that listen to everything that you're saying, that want to be there for you. Yeah, and it could be on a YouTube channel, yeah, but it could be your email list. And that there's power in that, and there's also a lot of money that people will pay for that kind of worth, that kind of value. So that should inspire people to say, hey, you know what? I have this community, and it may not be a million people, but that doesn't matter. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter at all. What matters is that you have those people, and that that it can get greater, and that you're not beholden to YouTube or Substack or whomever that's taken money from you, and eventually you may not be on that platform at all.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership matters. Ownership matters.
100%.
Yeah, I just read an article, I want to say 2 weeks ago, about how artists were really getting really frustrated with
Spotify.
Spotify. And you look at Spotify and you look at their numbers. So I'm a finance guy, right? And their numbers are just exploding. And really, what's happening is they're squeezing the artists. And
Oh,
what they were saying is the actual production companies it's Spotify gets all the money, then the production companies get like another chunk of it. And then by the time it gets down to the artists, it's almost none. And that's the same thing that happens. And I can say the same, and I'll just put this out here. And Chris may know this. He may know this. I'm assuming he probably does know this. But even if you take a podcast, let's say, for example, you take a podcast and you put a podcast on a YouTube, you're still, or if you put it on a Spotify, you're still getting pennies. You're still getting pennies. You have, unless you're getting your own sponsors that's carrying that cost, you're getting pennies. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, because the best way to get found is to be on YouTube. And a lot of people don't know this is if you go live at a certain time every week or once a month or whatever, your lives in a search engine will be at the top, almost near where the paid ads are, because YouTube wants people to tune into your lives and
Mm.
stay on their platform a
Mhm.
lot longer. A lot of people don't even know that. They're like, "Oh, I'm trying to do this or whatever." No, just go live at a certain time with a certain amount of keywords, and you're going to, in searches, you're going to come up to the top all the time if you're doing a live. So a lot of people don't know that, but if you have your live and it's already ready, set to go, it's going to get a lot of juice at the top as well. So it's a lot of little things I'm learning, and it's a lot of things I've lost a lot of money behind. Those it's not there's a lot to be said about those paid lessons, right, Chris? You're like, I won't do that $5,000, $10,000 mistake
Oof.
again,
But
because
Ooh.
you've learned, right?
Yes, indeed.
So
I think
I don't know.
generally, when it comes to podcasting and advertising, like you're talking about, I think a lot of people think that, that is sort of not the holy grail in terms of how you
Another thing, yeah.
monetize a podcast. And
Mm.
it's not. It's slivers of pennies, just
Yeah.
like it's a sliver of penny for, an artist to be on Spotify and get a
Right.
stream
Mhm.
and get paid for that, because by the time it hits, goes through all those. But like, so what's more important, especially at the level that we're at,
Right.
is to not lose the trust of the people who are listening
Hmm.
and watching. And
Facts.
so instead of like when they hit play and they're listening to 2 minutes of ads, like you're giving them exactly what they want.
Mhm.
And yeah, maybe you can slide in a host read ad or something, or maybe you develop a sponsorship with somebody who wants to support the show, and all of those kinds of things. Those
Mhm.
kinds of things are going to make you more money in the long run than an ad that you think you're going to run on 100 of your podcasts at the very beginning of the podcast. And the risk is you lose your audience, you lose the trust of
Trust.
those people. And when
Mhm.
they came to hear Rebooted, and the first thing that they hear when they hit play is a MeUndies ad and a Athletic Greens ad, and all of these ads before they get to hear the buttery smooth sound of James Hicks in their ear
This
holes.
man put me
Like
in there with
replace
the
they're
MeUndies.
gone. They're gone.
Can't replace that. Can't replace
No,
that
Man,
buttery
put
no.
smooth James here.
me and my undies though. I can't get that out of my head. We gonna move on because you
I think
dropping
you
them.
should do a MeUndies ad, Hicks. Like that
MeUndies.
voice
Whoa.
talk about, I'm James and I really love MeUndies.
And I approve this message.
At
Yeah.
midnight. You got to do it at midnight, though. At midnight. You got to do the Keith Sweat at midnight.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all know that's gonna be cut up, and again, that's that right there too. That's why I was purposely quiet, Chris. That's going in the script, and I'm gonna figure it out. That's gonna be
Yes,
all over
sir.
the internet. Listen, podcast live stream is an excellent way to build community and audience, but not so much a revenue stream. Again, it's digital storefront. That's what it is. It's a way of letting people see you, seeing your personality, and then seeing everything else that you provide and everything else that you offer. I want to be cognizant of folks' time, man, because again, we've already gone for about an hour. But Tallboy, the Gen AI infographic that you shared, did you want to tease
Yeah.
that so we can go into that?
So I shared this, and I don't know, maybe you can share it over to Chris and share it over to John. We are talking about podcasting, but I'm also looking at the future. And the future is now, because we're all talking about AI. And as you look at this screen here, this is how people are using AI. The question is, are you using it? That's number one. And then now, as you're looking at this list for the first time, how do you see yourself using it moving forward for the rest of the year?
I'm just waiting for John to say, well, since it's on vertical, I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't see that. I gotta. Here we go.
You know, even if you zoom in on horizontal, you still it doesn't zoom in the pot. So,
I'll sum it up. It's kind of a list from 2024, 2025,
Oh Lord,
generative AI tools
I'll be
and
back.
primary use cases. Now Steve is coming in too, right? um, how the fact that now that so the top 5 uses for generative AI for this year, according to this survey from the Harvard Business Review: therapy and companionship, organizing life, finding purpose, enhancing learning, and generating code. So that's what folks are using generative AI for now. Last year, it was for generating ideas, therapy and
Hmm.
companionship, a specific search, editing text, or exploring interests. It's interesting to see how therapy and companionship has moved to the top for what people are using generative AI for, and also for organizing their life. Organizing life was it even on the list last year? No. So think about it. So we're trying to organize our life. We're trying to get more mental rest, more awareness in terms of rest, finding folks to be a companion, finding purpose, enhancing our learning. It's transitioned to more soft skills. Let me use that term, as opposed to just using it to
Hmm.
editing text, a specific search, exploring interests. So your thoughts on just the top 5 for this list here?
I think what this shows me is people are learning what it's for. And what it's best for. So you're seeing in 2024, people were doing specific searches,
Mm,
right? And in 2025, now it's about perplexity and deep research with these LLMs. And so people understand, hey, Google is still Google, and I'm getting these searches, that have AI baked into them when I do go to Google anyway. And so they're understanding, okay, I can use AI for these other things. That's really what it's meant for. And so that's kind of the way I read, because I'm having a squint because I am old. But I mean, that's
You gotta put your readers on.
put them
yeah,
readers on,
exactly.
boy.
Exactly. And people are starting to understand sometimes AI is going to lie to you, right? So troubleshooting and editing text are going away, or go lower on the list, and maybe not even there, because they're realizing that they've been caught in lies. They've been caught in situations where they've gotten information that they thought was the truth from some of these things, and it's not. I mean, that's kind of my first look at it.
Steve, what
I
about you,
think
man?
my first look
Oh
at
yeah,
it.
go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, go ahead.
Go,
Oh,
go ahead, Steve.
my.
Oh, Jenny.
Oh, go ahead. My first look at it is personalized learning is down. I think people are realizing that, hey, if I want to learn how to do something, I can create AI or ask AI how to do it. And I think we went through this in COVID. We went through this courses. Everybody was doing courses
Mm-hmm.
and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
AI has shut that down. There's some ways around that,
Hmm.
meaning that if you know what you know, then people still are going to want to engage with you, but they want a more personal touch. So I've changed up some of my classes where I'm showing up once a week. I'm still doing content, but I'm showing up and holding people by the hand more, right? Because AI is like, hey, we can do that. You don't have to learn from people anymore. So, yeah, that's changed up a little bit. But other than that, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I think I was having a conversation with an old friend of mine, and she mentioned that she knew somebody that was using AI as as their therapist, and and
Whoa,
um
whoa.
and they discovered the voice for Chat TPT, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sick
Mm-hmm.
to be able
Hmm.
to talk to it, and you now have a therapist in this world, which could be really interesting and unique. And recently today, I had a contract that came back to me, and it was some stuff in it. Instead of me calling before I called my attorney, I said, let me try something. So I took the element that I had in the contract with what they came back to me as, and I put them both in the contract. And Chat did some incredible explaining to me the differences, the variations, the pitfalls of following what they wanted to engage versus what I had. So I think in a minute we're going to see some amazing tools these are amazing tools. And
I have a tool that actually evaluates, give me the pros and cons of this contract.
yeah,
You
man.
load, you
Yeah,
load, you
man.
load the contract in there. It says, tell
Mm-hmm.
me the advantages, tell me the disadvantages, and it just splits it out. And you can talk and chat with the contract. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah,
That's number
So
20. Explain legalese.
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, to me, that's helped me out a lot too. So thanks for
yeah.
bringing
It's
that up, Steve. But yeah, there's some stuff out there. Yeah, for sure.
it's funny you
Yeah.
say that because I have a friend of mine. She's going through a situation with her former employer, and she decided to, file a lawsuit against him. She doesn't have the money, and she literally, because she's out of a job, she has nothing but her internet and her computer, and she has literally crafted letters. She has literally filed motions all through Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the lawyer is saying, "Well, we need to dismiss this case," and when they send whatever she has to respond to, she does whatever she does with her magic, and when she does that, there it's like she's literally, and her family was laughing her out of the room saying, "You're not going to win this case." And right now she's still in litigation, and I really think that she's going to end up beating them.
Wow.
At the rate that she's going, she's not, she's an educator, so she knows her stuff. So at the end of the day, it's like all you have to do is prepare yourself with the material that is given you, fact check it, make sure that it's good. And because she's an educator,
Mm-hmm.
she's from the old school, show your sources where you got it from. And I think she's gonna really stand a chance at this
Right.
situation. And
Or,
that's where we are.
or in this day and age, or not show your sources,
Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
or
But
not.
but also look at the top where it says therapy and what is it, companionship.
Yeah, therapy and
Yeah.
companionship.
Look at that, where how many people are single and they're lonely, and now they have AI dolls. I
Mm-mm.
was at
Mm-hmm.
CES, and one of the biggest hits that was out there was an AI doll that could literally be your companion. And so, how many other people are going to say, "I'm willing to pay this to not have to hear her
Mm.
mouth,"
Watch your
or
no, watch your tone now. Watch your
no,
tone.
I'm just saying, or even for a female to say, "Hey, he ain't gonna argue with me. I can get him to go over there and make the companion fix whatever it needs to be fixed around the house because it's gonna get there eventually." So hey, let me program it to do this.
I
Need
need
it
I need
today.
somebody to clean these gutters. Well, if I can get me an
That
AI
too.
companion.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. The
So
drone
Yeah,
gutter.
wait.
I think where we're at, it's unfortunately we're at a state where the government or the U.S. administration or the U.S. administration, they have said that it's an all-out AI. We're going to lead the charge, whether you
Yep.
think it's positive or negative. Other countries have regulated it. There's no real regulation here at this moment, and until things change, this is the forefront. And because it's the forefront, it's we have to prepare. And lastly, before I, land, last week I was just saying how, or James and I were talking about how a company said that they were not Shopify, said that they
Yes.
were not going to hire anybody else unless AI can do it. And we jokingly said, how many other people are going to do this? Today, Duolingo just came out and said, we're not hiring anybody else for our companies. It'll all be worked through AI.
Wow.
So it's starting to happen, and we're starting to watch it come down.
Which is all more the reason why you need to start a channel, Steve.
I'm with.
Be-
Hey,
the re-
I'm.
the reason why I say that we've been joking, and as we wrap up, the reason why I say that is because if AI is going to take over like it has been, or it's going to be doing a lot, then people are still going to want to connect to real people, real
Yes.
souls,
Yeah.
people that are being authentic and people being genuine. I've talked to AI all day at work. Now I want to talk to a real person. Steve's going to say, "Hey, how you doing today?
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
was your day? My day was this." I tell people, I says, "Man, me and my wife, she wants to take me out to dinner. She wants me to go out to dinner." I told her, I says, "Hey, I got to talk to my people today. I got to talk to my people today. So I'm here for you guys. And they'll be like, oh, tell your wife we thank you, whatever. Everybody thinks they know her now. It's just one of those things being authentic. So that was my last comment. So sorry.
That's good. No,
Okay.
that's
Wanna-
a great putting a bow on it, right? Again, but
Yep.
that's pretty dope. Um,
Yep.
Talbot, let's go around the horn, man, and shut it down. But I'll let you have the final word. But I think that was pretty dope. I like what you said there too, Jenny, man. So
Jenny Juice.
John, what
Go ahead.
about you, man? Let's go with you. I'll just start picking folks around. So your thoughts on did you get the value from the conversation? I was able to get Mel on here just for you to leave a comment. She's probably getting 35,000 foot up in the air on a plane or something right now. But the stuff that you're doing, can anything that we talked about resonate with your community and your next steps, your next live stream that you do with your community?
Well, a lot of stuff. But I think one of the things that Mel used to say, and all you guys have just said it, whether you know it or not, is that these lives aren't to sell somebody anything except for trust. You know what I mean? I'm not buying a microphone from James if I don't trust him.
Yeah, that's true.
And so like when Jenny said, the guy waving at his wife in the background, everybody feels like he knows him. Well, I'll buy a microphone from somebody I know. You know what I mean? But so I think that's a lot more important than what these lives are about. And the AI, I don't think is going to take over your lives. It might try, but I don't think it's going to do that.
Keep that human touch. Keep that human element. Love that. Love that. Steve, what about you, brother? What about you? When we gonna log in?
I'm inspired.
Okay.
I'm definitely inspired, and I had intended on going like the Synthesia and going to find me an AI somebody that can say some stuff for me.
Yeah.
But I think that's the wrong direction as well. So I'll take a stab and throw some stuff out there and John, to your point, I'm not over excited about just kind of throwing information out there to generate revenue. I think there's some stuff that I can just share for the sake of sharing it and being authentic has been my thing. That I'm who I am and people tend to believe what I say and I stand behind it and that kind of thing. So I think you guys have definitely inspired me to just kind of come out of my bag and start sharing.
I'm just impressed that he knew how to pronounce synthesia. I can't even say it right. God, it just rolled off too, right? Brother had
I
all
was
the
impressed by
syllables.
that program, by the way. I was totally impressed the first time I played with it. But
You
go
know what I'm saying? This
ahead.
man got all the syllables right on that. Dr. Stone, come on, Sensei.
Yeah, man, I can't believe y'all let me on this thing, but I do appreciate you, Hicks and Tall Boy, and the new friends that I met tonight. Congratulations on season 1, and hopefully, Tall Boy can go fake live tomorrow and save season 2, so Netflix and Hulu will have you guys live there. But I do appreciate it.
Corey Sanders. That's right.
No,
That's right. Called you by your government name.
call me by my government.
Call
Come
you
on,
by a
Jenny.
government name. Bring us home, man.
No. Oh, Jenny went. Did Jenny go?
Jenny started it off. He
Oh, my bad.
he
Okay.
started it off.
Look, guys, this was an experiment, and I say this every week. And pulling tooth and nail with this man because he didn't want to go through the whole experiment, and we got him to pull through. And I think he even sees where it's at. And I think the biggest thing is we're going to see more people do vertical lives, but we were part of that experiment. You guys are now part of this social experiment. The people that are watching have now seen this social experiment. And now we hope that, with seeing where technology is going, seeing how AI is starting to come to the forefront, I think bringing all of us together, my goal was to say, these are my friends. James bring his friends. Let's find a way to connect with each other, inspire one another because we all have our ups and downs, And then that way we can all grow together. And that's my take.
I got nothing else, man. That's it. Rebooters in the building. We did what we needed to do. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate the community. Appreciate these guests. If you guys found some value, let us know. If you did not find value, still let us know so we can do better and we can be better. Y'all be good. We out.